This is my 2014 Toyota Tundra Crewmax SR5 with the 5.7. I absolutely love this truck. I've owned it for about 5 years, put 30,000 miles on it, and it has been great, except for the gas mileage. And the one flaw I believe it came with from the factory is the head unit. And today, we're gonna fix that. Ever since I brought the truck home, the head unit has driven me crazy. It constantly glitches and freezes. I always have to hold down the power button and restart it. No Apple Carplay, no Android Auto. The screen is about 7 inches, I think, and by today's standards, it's very small. This is the non-JBL head unit with the built-in navigation, but today, all of it's coming out. We're gonna get something in here much better. And the Tundra is gonna get the Dasaita, the Vivid 11 with the 10.2-inch screen. It does all kinds of crazy stuff. For instance, it does Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, wired and wireless. Huge game changer. That is gonna bring this truck into, in about 10, 15 years newer. Android Auto, download apps from the Google Play Store, Spotify, Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, full functions or video, music, radio, DPS, GPS, navigation, Wi-Fi, BT tethering, internet, split screen, steering wheel controls, RGB colors, illumination, all kinds of stuff. So once we get it in, we'll have to play with it and see all the good functions that it does, but huge game changer. Wireless, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and there's no kit you have to buy, like a mounting bracket to mount it in your dash. Everything you need comes in this little white box. All right, we have a quick installation guide. All the harnesses, all the accessories, where they should go, how to pull out your old unit, more detailed instruction manual, warranty card, quite a bit of cables and accessories, and the unit itself. Be sure to disconnect the battery and then put something there where it won't accidentally touch, or try to move it and pry it out of the way so it doesn't touch the terminal. We have to remove this lower panel, and to do that I'm just going to use a couple of different little plastic pry tools we got, and it should pop right out. Try not to push it down too much. It does need to slide out, so as easily as you can, gently use the pry tools to try to get in and get it started. If you don't have pry tools, be sure to check your box first, because mine actually came with a couple little handy dandy pry tools and some zip ties for cleaning up that wiring harness. And now this portion needs to come out. Just pulls forward. Pops right out. One plug on the back. Set that out of the way. Under the head unit, there will be 4 10mm screws. There is the 2 we see right here in the front, and then there's also 2 set back here on each side, which you'll have to use an extension to get those out. And for the outer 2 bolts in the very back, I'd like to stick a little bit of tape, electrical or something, in the socket, because if those fall down there, you might not ever get them back. Also helpful for putting them back in. And like the rest of the pieces, this should just pull straight back and out. Watch the dash. And we have a plethora of wires back here. Everything's gonna have to be unplugged, and also the brackets on the side. Everything has to be unplugged. There is a couple harnesses that just kind of wire back into the head unit, so you don't have to do those necessarily. But just go through here, maybe take a couple pictures along the way in case you get confused when reinstalling the new head unit. Two head units side by side. Stock one on the right. Takes up a lot of room, a lot of real estate, but there's not a whole lot of screen. Most of the Dasaita one is almost all screen, which is great. The website shows that you're only going to use 2 of the bolts to retain the factory mounting bracket on the side. So all 5 of these will not be reused on this, only 2. And make sure you do the orientation accurately so that it actually fits in the dash. Just follow the instructions and look at the diagrams to see which harness goes to what from your original head unit. Once all of your mini wiring harnesses are plugged into the factory harness, it's time to plug everything into the new head unit. It comes with 3 extra USB ports, which I'm just going to use so that I have all of them. They just plug back into the head unit, that purple connector and the brown one. I'm just going to tuck them underneath somewhere, maybe even run them into the glove box or something so that we have extra USB ports. It would be nice to run them down to where like the 12-volt outlets were and the other USB port, just to have a couple extra ones. Never hurts to have more than just one. With this harness plugged in to the dash wiring, I have an extra plug, and they say just don't use it. So if you have an extra one that doesn't go anywhere, don't stress too much. Just continue on with the install and see if it works. Everything's plugged back in, ready to go in. Pretty self-explanatory, not a whole lot of places that these plugs can go. The design is nice where each clip only goes into one spot. There is an HDMI, which I like, output for, you know, if you want to have second and third screens maybe in the back. For kids, this little guy here is cool. It's a little antenna for the Wi-Fi. I do like that there's all these amp outputs. There's speakers and subwoofers, and this is nice if you're running an aftermarket system, and they're all capped off, so those will just go in there for now. My system right now is just wired into the stock amp under the seat, but those are good to have as well. There's a couple different options for the rear camera. There is an extra option for front camera, so if the camera doesn't work, maybe try swapping these 2 yellow connectors. Once the wiring harness and everything is hooked up, USB cables are ran to wherever you want to. I ran mine to the glove box. You're gonna wanna check to make sure the thing turns on before you reinstall everything. And most importantly, you're gonna wanna make sure that the reverse camera works, because there's a couple different options in the back, especially there's a front camera option, a rear camera option. So make sure that works before you tidy it all up and put it back in. My head unit came with a secondary wiring harness. I believe this harness is for the 2020 to 2021. It does also say that the CAN bus box is shared, so make sure you switch this CAN bus box over to the harness that you need. Mine came attached to this harness, but I needed to unclip it and plug it into this harness that is for 2014 to 2019 Tundras. Four bolts holding the head unit, go back in. Don't forget the tape trick for the back ones on the side so you don't drop the bolt. I ran the microphone up here to the top of this third speaker grill. I'm just gonna stick it here with the provided double stick tape. Another option, maybe better, would be maybe on top of the steering column or somewhere, I don't know. It just has to be where you can be heard. The unit has a mic here, but from what I've researched, they say this mic does not work very well. If you could run this, it's gonna be much better. So we're just gonna give it a go and see how it is. Just Stick it right there. Why not? Once the Bluetooth is paired from your phone, all you have to do is turn on your vehicle, and it takes a few seconds and it should go right to CarPlay or Android Auto, whatever phone you have. If you have a video or song playing or anything, it will continue, and there it is. All the apps, everything good to go automatically from the home screen, which is great. It all hooks up. Easy to do. Thanks to Dasaita for sending this to me for review, full disclosure. So far for the money, I think you can't go wrong. I'm really happy with the unit. Everything seems to be functioning properly, and I have to put it to use. Give it a shot. What's the best part? Ta-da!
Ta-da.
Phone, messages, maps. Pandora, Waze, your calendar, settings, everything is right there. And if you don't have CarPlay on, you get a bunch of other options as well. But typically when you have CarPlay on, you usually just use CarPlay, but it is Chrome, Gmail, I think there's YouTube on here. I believe you have to plug in the phone to get YouTube, or have your like wireless tethering Wi-Fi on, something like that. Widgets, wallpapers. I like it because it's as big as you can possibly get it in here without having a huge screen set away from the dash where you can't really get to the vents and the pocket up here. That's cool and all, but this is about the largest screen you can get, and it's gonna be kind of flush mounted in there, exactly in the factory location.